It is the off season here, and it's a great time to check in with how you guys are feeling. How would you rate the Cowboys Report? Just overall, 1 to 10 scale. 10 is this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Don't change a damn thing. 1 is it's the worst show ever. You'd rather watch Eagles now. So let me know. And if it's below like a 7, tell us how we can make the show better for you at least. Let's talk free agency targets out there. Clutch points. I don't know why I said clutch ports. That's not a word. I guess it's not a thing. They listed signing Hunter Renfrow as the one perfect move left for Dallas. And I get the general interest in adding another wide receiver. There's a lot of unproven players behind CeeDee Lamb and behind Brandon Cooks. Is Jalen Tolbert going to have the breakout season? Is Kevontae Turpin going to be more than just a gadget slot guy? Does Jalen Brooks surprise people? Ryan Flournoy? There's not a lot of proven reliability. And Hunter Renfrow is just a couple of years removed from being a 1,000-yard wide receiver out with the Raiders back in 2021. But his play fell off a cliff the last 2 seasons. And the biggest issue that I get to here when it comes to Renfrow, and specifically his fit within the Dallas Cowboys organization, is how he gets used. How you maximize him as a player is in the slot. He played 88 and 85% of his snaps in the slot back in 2023 and 2022. He was 65 to 63% in 2021 and 2020, and 72% in 2019. That's a pretty damn high number. That is about as close as a slot main player as you find. That's noteworthy, right? The Cowboys, meanwhile, they don't need a slot receiver. Kevontae Turpin spent 103 total snaps in the slot, 66.5%. CeeDee Lamb was in there over half of his snaps. Tolbert was in there about a third of the time for his snaps. Same with Brandon Cooks. In fact, relative from last year, the Cowboys have 64 total slot snaps to replace at wide receiver. That's it. That particular role is filled. They're going to put Lamb in there a lot. They'll rotate in Cooks and Tolbert at times and put Lamb outside. And when Turpin's on the field, he's normally a slot receiver. So how does Renfrow fit in? Unless you're going to not put Lamb and Cooks in the slot nearly as much, which I think is a mistake because they're good in that role. So do you want to add Hunter Renfrow? It's the pinned comment on today's show, so if that ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there, type in Y for yes, N for no. When it comes to signing Hunter Renfrow, if I ran the Cowboys, if they want to do it, okay, fine. It's not the end of the world. They can go down that path, whatever. It's not going to be, expensive. I don't need him on the Cowboys, though. I don't think he's going to drastically improve this team. And I question the fit, the need, and the role of a guy that statistically is pretty much only a slot receiver. Again, 85+% the last 2 seasons. In general, I am not opposed to getting another wide receiver. I think there is the upside of that helping your team. I just don't think Renfrow is the guy that you want to go down that path. I don't need a slot-only receiver. I don't need another slower receiver. Yeah, Renfrow can get open. Maybe I change my tune if something bad happened to one of your other slot receivers, which CeeDee Lamb plays that role pretty heavily. Turpin as well. Cooks can do it. Tolbert did it a little bit last year too. I just don't think getting a slot-only receiver is the most logical move right now for the Cowboys. Today's show is made possible by True Nutrition, a new sponsor here at the Cowboys Report. If you're buying protein powder or other supplements, you should be concerned about the ingredients. It's not a secret. Supplement industry is not heavily regulated, and many products on the market have fillers and even harmful chemicals in them. That's why I'm excited to have True Nutrition on board. It can be really hard to find the right protein powder to match your body and fitness goals. That's why with True Nutrition, you can create your own fully customizable protein powder mix with the exact ingredients you want based on your activity, taste, diet, and goals. It is truly sports nutrition designed by you with the highest quality products possible and no BS. I've got the French vanilla version here. I've also got ones with strawberry sorbet, cookie butter, chocolate chip peanut butter cup as well. Taste matters to me. I don't want this stuff to taste mediocre. That makes me less likely to actually use it. And True Nutrition delivers when it comes to taste. For a limited time, You guys get 15% off your entire order when you use code CHAT at checkout. That's 15% off your entire order at TrueNutrition.com with promo code CHAT. Take the guesswork out of nutrition with True Nutrition. Links in the comments and the description of today's show. Let's talk Sam Williams here. He was 8th among the Cowboys' trench players in snaps last year. That includes defensive ends and defensive tackles. Played just 8 against the Packers. The Dallas Morning News pointing him out as a player with a lot to prove this year. And I am on board with that argument from an edge rusher only perspective. So we're taking off Osa Odigizua, Jonathan Hankins, Mozzie Smith, etc. I think Chauncey Golston as well. The 2023 snap count breakdown looks like this at edge rusher. Micah played almost 81% of the snaps. Dorrance Armstrong played 57% of the snaps. Or Tank Lawrence played 57% of the snaps. Armstrong played 42%. Then Sam Williams. There's a lot of snaps that have to be replaced at the edge rusher position. And the hope is that not just Marshawn Nealon takes a bunch of those, but also the older second-round pick in Sam Williams. His numbers regressed this past season. He had more tackles. He had an extra half sack, but the penalties skyrocketed. The tackles for loss went in the wrong direction, and his pressure rate dipped. And that's not what you want to see, because pressure rate is generally a more stable metric. There's not as much flukiness involved there that it can be sometimes with sacks. So I am on board with this. I think this is a critical preseason that Sam Williams faces. I'm including training camp in that conversation. There's a new defensive coordinator. He has to prove himself to him and earn that playing time because they spent the same asset in Marshawn Nealon as they did on him, and he's a little bit younger. That stuff matters. Now, we'll break down a bunch more make or break players here on the Cowboys Report, so make sure you guys are subscribed so you don't miss out on that. We are getting closer and closer to 190,000 subscribers. We're about 700 away. Help us get there. And you get free Cowboys videos in exchange as well. YouTube.com/CowboysTV. Somehow, Dalvin Cook rumors returned. I hate it. Bleacher Report once again advocating for the Cowboys. They should sign Dalvin Cook. It'd help out their backfield. Every single available running back is going to be linked to Dallas by national media because this running back room is just not that good. There's no obvious, young, explosive piece. You're like, yeah, they're going to give the young guy playing time. Dude's a 6th-round pick. Rico Dowdle's on an additional contract. Like, they need more players, more impact, and, not like Zeke is the same spring chicken he was several years ago. My issue is that Dalvin Cook was bad last year. He eventually gets picked up by the Ravens, has one good run in the preseason, and then, nothing else beyond that. His play, talk about regression. Look it up in the dictionary. It's going to be a picture of Dalvin Cook. 5.0 yards per carry, 4.7, 4.4, 3.2. It's not just the negative results in terms of the overall raw numbers. The advanced metrics are even worse for Dalvin Cook. All of these from Summer Sports qualifying backs. Out of 62 different backs who qualify, Dalvin Cook was last in EPA per carry, 58th out of 62 in yards after contact at less than 2 yards per carry, 60th out of 62 in success rate. Every fourth carry went for a positive result. The explosive rate was dead last, and yards created was also bottom 10. That's bad, guys. So I think you know my answer here. But do you want Dalvin Cook on the Cowboys? Type S for sign, you want to add him. P for pass. Go ahead and vote for me in the comments of today's video. S for sign or P for pass. I am not interested in Dalvin Cook. The advanced numbers are terrible. You guys know how I feel about the signing of Ezekiel Elliott. I think he is a better option right now than Dalvin Cook, and it's not even all that close to me. You can wind back the tape several months ago to last offseason, hey, there's some underlying concerns here for Dalvin Cook about the possibility of him falling off, of him struggling, of him not being the same guy. The warning signs are there, and it was even worse than what I'd feared. And our Vikings channel feared back when I was helping out over there. I'd rather find some juice, some explosive ability, some big playmaking, some efficiency than what I think for Dalvin Cook. I think it would be kind of like buying the name brand, but the name brand's a little bit expensive. Also, it's just not that good anymore as the discount local grocery store option. Want to wrap up today's show with this. Dallas Morning News' Calvin Watkins responding to the Ty Dunn report about issues between McCarthy and the Cowboys. Longer piece, but there's one thing in particular I want to focus on. This angle about the Cowboys spending. The Go Long report, Watkins wrote, indicated McCarthy felt the team was cheap in terms of signing players, which hampers their ability to fill needs with veteran players. That seems unfounded, given the Cowboys traded for two veterans, Brandon Cooks and Stephon Gilmore last year, and signed veteran linebacker Eric Kendricks this year. The Cowboys had less than $10 million in salary cap space in some seasons, which limits what the team can offer free agents. A majority of their cap space devoted to players, and the team is drafted as part of a draft and develop plan Mike McCarthy embraces. I am tired of being gaslit, whether it is by other big Cowboys media or the Cowboys through big media. I don't know if it's just the media not doing it properly and they don't understand it, or it's the Cowboys, leaking it and getting it out there. They also said that the execs weren't available for comment and then cited Cowboys sources, so pick one. That can't have both there. Also, it wasn't McCarthy saying that he was unhappy with the spending. It was the anonymous source saying that in general the Cowboys don't spend right. We cannot sit here and say, we made 3 moves. Look at all the stuff we're doing. It's the least amount of moves any team is making. What are we doing here? This is like saying, what do you mean you're hungry? You had dinner last night. It's 4 days later. Of course we're hungry. The Cowboys are absolutely cheap. We cannot sit there and claim otherwise and allow people to claim otherwise on our behalf. They are bottom 3 in cash spent over the last 3 years. They are significantly below average. They are hundreds of million dollars behind other top spending teams. You cannot sit here and say, we pay our own guys. That's why we haven't spent money, and then not pay your own guys. You haven't paid anybody. Looking ahead to next year where you're so worried about your spending, you've got one guy under contract that's going to be back. It's Trayvon Diggs. We'll see about Terrence Steele. That's expensive. They ain't paid anybody. They're not spending money. It is a ridiculous joke that this gaslighting continues, and I am sick and tired of it.